happy birthday.
Okay, so it's not exactly the game's birthday. I did try digging through the files the other day, and best I can tell, I got started on this around December 16th, 2018. It's all good though, because we're close enough for me to not care, and it has been a whopping 7 years, so it's about time we celebrate. I've been on and off with this thing, done a lot of starting and stopping, and staffing changes, and friend changes, and lifestyle changes, and wins and losses, and ups and downs, so we're gonna just take a break and celebrate, because, yeah. So, what the hell is this? Alright, well, I'll tell you. This is a game called Zone B Korosu. It's an idea that I had brewing in my head since about 2014. I had a story. I originally wanted to make a comic book, but I couldn't draw, and the person I was with at the time was like, ooh, I'll draw it for you, and then never did, and then I tried working on it myself, and realized that I hate drawing, and so then around 2018 I got the wild idea to start making arcade games, and I was like, what if I take this story I already have and make it into not an arcade game, but actually a full-on narrative story adventure? And then it all kind of went downhill from there. And by downhill, I mean down. It was a great time, though. I had a great time. What it turned into, though, at the end was a pixel art zombie story, which eventually kind of migrated away from zombies into just interdimensional, ridiculous, Chrono Trigger-y, what is even happening to these characters kind of story, and it all kind of just creeped into something crazy, which we're working on now. It is on Steam. We did release onto Steam in 2022. My goal was just to release something. I was like, alright, this is going to be a huge, long project, and I don't think it's going to get finished in any sort of timely manner, so we're just going to fire it off, and we'll just keep adding to it as we go. And we have. It's been a wild ride. So here's a little bit of the game. And so, why did I make such a thing as this? Well, I went on a wild hare in around 2017 and started making arcade cabinets because I moved into an actual house for the first time since childhood. And so, of course, I was like, we need to throw an arcade party. So I started making these stand-up arcade machines, which were super fun. And I threw a little arcade party with pizza and black lights, and we dressed up as video game characters, and it was super fun. And then when I started learning game dev the next year, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to stuff a game I made into one of these arcade cabinets that I also made? And so it started evolving from there, and I worked kind of on this game in the margins. I had a full-time job the entire time, so I was just doing this on days when I was bored or just was really hyped up to work on it, or just when I was kind of in the margins of the rest of my life. I have kind of a lot of real-life responsibilities outside my normal job, so this was just getting worked on top of all of that. So it's taken quite a while. I think any normal, sane person wouldn't take 7 years and still have such a babyish looking project, baby's first video game hours. But here we are. This is the best I could do with the time that I had, and somewhere around 2021, I think I really started ramping it up and working on it hardcore. It kind of got a little bit more serious, and I just kind of went from there. And after the people I had roped into arting this thing decided they didn't want to do it anymore, it was left up to me to go ahead and keep going, picking up where they left off. And then another large change happened in 2024 when I decided I was going to check out what people were doing on Twitch in the game development category, and happened upon some community of AAA devs who were just doing indie stuff, and that really opened my eyes. I got to hear and see a lot of how the actual game industry works, and fix a lot of problems that I had with my production, with my art style, with my user experience, and just my design in general. One of the people I got to be close friends with, close-ish internet friends with, is an art director, was an art director, senior concept artist. One of them was a designer proper, and he gave me a lot of really cool insight into how to make the game more fun, how to make people click with it quicker, and how to make trailers. And I've just been learning a ton, and it's been crazy awesome meeting all of those people and learning all this stuff from how the actual pros do it. So what are some of the things we have done? Well, we've done about 6 conventions, getting a vendor space, having a little laptop set up where people can try the game, selling merch related to the game, selling copies of the actual game in real life and talking to real life people about it, and getting some live playtest feedback on the spot. That was crazy good. The first one we did was in Las Vegas, this little teeny tiny convention called Unicon. We probably only got about 20 total people walking by the booth, but all of them were very excited. They were very nice over there about it. A lot of people were very hyped about the story. One group of people actually came back the second day and drew us some fanfic of the game. That was pretty awesome. We did a big anime convention the same year, about a week later, where we got our ass kicked and nobody bought the game at all. We sold maybe 2 copies that whole weekend. And I learned a lot about kind of people's acceptance of a new IP, because nobody knew who we were, nobody recognized the characters, the art wasn't really that good, and I was drawing most of it at the time. So that was a really good learning experience. We also did a couple of game conventions, like retro-themed game conventions where people go to buy real hardware and that kind of stuff, and I was like, cool, this is our target audience, this is exactly who will be buying our game, and nope. It's very, very interesting, like your idea of who's going to like your game and who's going to click with it, and then reality. The expectation versus reality meme is real. Yeah, it's actually pretty hard to sell a brand new game to people who've never seen it, and many of which who aren't even really in the market for a new game, or if they are, it's a very specific thing they want, and yeah. So, you might be looking at some of the footage from the game and thinking, wow, these look like completely different games. Yeah, well, many people would agree with you, but no, this is all actually part of the same game, sort of. I mean, with it spanning so much time, I do get bored working on the same things too long, so what usually ends up happening is I make some new feature for the game, and it turns into its whole new game mode of its own, and I'm like, cool, I can work this into the story. And so what ended up happening was this main story narrative thing is chopped up into 4 parts, and each one's got a main genre. The first one's a 2D platformer with some visual novel storytelling elements. The second one's a top-down RPG a la the old Zelda games. The third one is still in the very early prototype stages, and it's going to be like a 3D platformer Mario 64 type of game. And then the fourth one is very, very early. All I really have is a basic concept level for that in Gray Box. That's actually going to be a Star Fox type game. Can I say Star Fox? Am I allowed to say that? Cease and desist Nintendo letter incoming? Anyway, yeah, it's going to be a spaceship, legally distinct spaceship flying type game. But they are all actually the same game, the same story. They're all going to be in the same application. They're all going to be part of the same package, so I call it ADHD game design because it's just tons of shit flung at the player. So the way I'm justifying it is hopefully people won't get as bored of this as they will with a game that's quite long and you kind of just do the same thing for the entire time. There's a lot of games like that where you just get burnt out. You're just like, man, I've been jumping the same jumps and shooting the same shots and doing the same quests for hours, and this where are we going with this? Do I have to do this? And I just wanted to keep it fresh for the player and make them feel like, yeah, maybe this wasn't the best game ever, the art wasn't the greatest, the story wasn't the greatest, the writing wasn't the greatest, but holy crap, have I done some shit. Have I gone on an adventure on this one? So that's the main goal as it stands right now. So what's next? Where are we going? What can current and future fans expect from Zone B Korosu? Well, right now, 2025 fall, just recently I decided to end the series. That's it. Pack it up, folks. GG's. We had a good run. What's actually going to happen is I realized that this story is way too big for the speed at which I was creating game. Like, I wanted to make 4 distinct chapters, all whole game lengths, kind of slowly revealing the story and rolling it out, epic RPG style, 10, 20-ish hours of gameplay. One of my friends asked me about this. Hey, when do you see this story ending, or when do you see production ending? And I mathed it all out, and I was like, yeah, probably like late 2028. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. So what we're doing now is we've completely revamped the production style of our game. What I'm going to do, there's 4 main chapters, right? So the chapters that I have done, I have all of chapter 1. I'm not going to say it's done, it's never done. I'm going to be improving it as long as I can use a computer. But the main story is in there. You can play through all of chapter 1 and see all of the plot points and everything that happens. And then one part of chapter 2. Chapter 2 is going to be split into 5 parts. We're 2 years out. Wait, what? No, we're 3 years out from release, and I have Wait, I can't do math. I have 1 chapter done and 20% of another chapter done. So, what I'm doing, fall 2025, I'm going to end the story. What you're going to be able to do is read the entire story. No gameplay. There's going to be a Wikipedia plot summary TLDR style blurb for each section of the game, which tells you the basic plot points of what happens. That's going to be accessible anytime. You don't have to beat the game to get it. You can just read the summary and be like, here's what happens in the story, or you can not. It'll be kind of like a click here for the spoilies type thing, because not everybody's into the story, and some people are only into the story and don't want to do any gameplay bullshit. They just want to see what happens, and then maybe they'll decide they want to play through it. So, you're going to be able to read a summary of the entire story right out of the gate, and then play through it, or play through some and read through some, or whatever, however combination you want to do it. But that's how I'm going to end the story. That's how we're going to wrap up this entire thing. People are going to be able to just fire up the game, read through the story, play through the story, however much they want to do, play through part of it, then read the rest of it. It's Subway, Burger King, have it your way, mix and match, wombo combo. Yep, it's all you. You decide how to do it. So we're going to end the story. After that, after December 2025, first thing I'm doing in 2026 is a gigantic art push. The art of the game is really probably the weakest point. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on the mechanics, on the style, on the vibes, on the writing. The art is the biggest hurdle, really, to this game, because I've had about 10 different people drawing on it, because I was very, very convinced that I couldn't draw for it. And then by the time I finally did start drawing for it, my art style was all over the place with mismatched pixel sizes, not knowing what my art style even was, and trying to kind of replicate the various styles of the people who drew for it. At this point in time, though, I think I do have a pretty consistent style of what I want to do and what I can do, and it's not too bad to look at, considering I'm a novice at all of this and not trained at all. Anyway, so I'm going to do a huge art push to try to make the entire thing look consistent. I'm going to do a few functionality fixes very early, because the cutscenes don't really work very well from the playtests. I can tell that the idea I had for advancing the cutscenes does not work. Nobody can figure out how to advance the text the way I imagined the text being advanced, and they're missing lines of dialogue and missing plot points, and that's really my fault for making a really clunky cutscene dialogue system, probably only a couple months into development in very early 2019. And it just does not work. I've played a lot of other games with really good, clean, efficient cutscene mechanics, and this is not that. This needs a massive overhaul. So early 2026, big art push, big cutscene overhaul, and yeah, pretty much that's probably going to take most of the year. I would love it if I can make some more of Chapter 2. There's 4 more parts of it to make, but the main thing is going to be getting what we have looking good, feeling good to play. I feel like the Chapter 2 portions are a lot better than the Chapter 1 portions. Imagine that, getting more experience and making a better game later. Who would have thunk it? But yeah, I'm gonna stop adding more gameplay segments until what we have is really rock solid. And then, what comes next after that? Well, either in 2026 or 2027, depending on how our art push goes, I'm gonna try to finish out Chapter 2. That'll probably take a solid year, unfortunately, just because of how much I want to do with it. And then probably another year for Chapter 3, and then probably one more year for Chapter 4 to finish out the story with the gameplay elements. So, optimistically, yeah, the story will probably be done in the end of the entire game, will probably be done at the end of 2028. But the headline is that you will be able to see, witness, read the entire story before then very soon. So if you just want to know what happens, yeah, you'll get to know. Which, yeah, kind of sucks. Like, I wish I could just shit out the entire game finished, but, you know, as a single one-man guy, just making this myself, yeah, not really super feasible when a lot of other studios have hundreds to thousands of people working on their games, so it is what it is. But everything I do kind of has a precedent in successful games. Like, very early on, I was like, oh no, I won't be able to finish this game for a long time. Like, it'll suck to leave an unfinished game. And I even got a Steam review saying, oh, the story seems to be incomplete. But if you look at even AAA games, like, a lot of them just are incomplete. Half-Life 2 still doesn't have an ending. Left 4 Dead kinda has an ending, but not really. Doom 3, no ending. None of the Dooms actually have an ending. They just end with more bullshit. They're just like, oh hey, you opened a door, and now there's more bullshit for you to do. Yay! You could say that's an ending, but I don't think it's any more of an ending than ours, which, at the end of Chapter 1, spoilers, skip this if you don't want to know what happens at the end of Chapter 1, but our franchise is all about spoilers. So at the end of Chapter 1, he's like, oh, I've got to go back into the city and save as many people as I can. And that's kind of an ending. Like, I mean, you can say, oh, the ending's incomplete, but lots of games end that way. They're like, oh, yes, and the hero went on to slay many more bad guys. Yay. Yeah, that's an ending. So, yeah. Okay, and finally, if you liked what you saw in this video, I would love it. Really? Oh, would you really? I would love it if you would give us a follow. I work on the game on Twitch live. My Twitch name is JPN I try to stream 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, around like 7 to 11 p.m. Pacific time. Sometimes we have other random streams like on the weekends, or other times when I just feel like working or have time to work or can't sleep, I'll get up and stream some. But yeah, the game's on Steam as well if you want to support the project. It's only $10. One of the things that we're doing, which I think is really cool, is everything is included with the game. Like, there's no DLC, there's no add-ons. A lot of game devs, even AAAs, especially AAAs, are like, why don't you just end this project and make a new game? Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want people to have to buy another game. Like, oh yeah, that game sucked. Let's put out another one, and so people have to pay us again. Nah, buy the game once. You get everything I add to it as long as I'm working on this property. No DLCs, no add-ons, none of that. It's $10 US. Buy it once, get it forever, get everything we add to it. Yeah, or even just a wish list helps, really. Follow on Twitch helps. If you want to work on the game, if you are a designer or a whatever kind of game creator-y person, I would love to collaborate. I have collaborated with people in the past. At this point, we don't really have a budget to hire people, but I'm always accepting ideas even, or submissions from people who want to work on the game. even in a very small capacity, as little as, oh, throw me in as a zombie, to, oh, I'd love to draw a couple of sprites for you and see how it works. I have paid people in the past, but a lot of times it's very difficult to gauge how much to pay people for how much work is getting done, because I don't make any money off of this, and so I can't really be spending tons of money hiring people when the company is not making anything. So it would definitely be like a volunteer basis, or, oh yeah, I would love to throw this in your game and put it in my portfolio type deal. Yeah, let me know if you want to collaborate, or if you just want to chat about game development. I've learned so much making this thing. I'd love to share what I know, learn from what you know, maybe. Just make more friends in the game creation universe. I love game developers. I love talking game development. I love helping other people with their games, or pitching ideas, or, helping solve Unity problems for people who are maybe just getting started. So feel free to follow me on Twitch, send me a message there. We have a Discord, but we never use it. I created it because one person asked for it and nobody ever asked for it again. So I think it's about a single-digit number of people in there. So don't even bother with the Discord. But Twitch is a fairly active community. You can also email me, zonebkorosu@gmail.com. Swear we'll get our own domain someday, but right now that's just not really in the cards. But yeah, if you have watched all the way to the end of this, thank you so much. Appreciate all of the close friends who've helped me with this along the way. Too many to name. They're in the credits of the game. Everyone who's helped is in the credits of the game by the game on Steam to help us out. Thank you. Goodbye.